They don't want you to know this. There is a mental technique so powerful that it was allegedly used by some of the greatest minds in history: Nikola Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein. Yet, it has been buried, ignored, and completely erased from modern education. Why? Because if you knew how to unlock this forbidden mental hack, you wouldn't just become smart. You would become dangerously intelligent. The kind of intelligent that questions everything, sees patterns others miss, and thinks on a level that breaks the boundaries of reality. And that is exactly what you are about to learn. This isn't just another audiobook. It is one of the most controversial, mind-altering guides. We are going to deconstruct it, chapter by chapter, revealing to you, step by step, how to access this hidden power, the intelligence equation they never wanted you to have. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The lie they planted about intelligence. They have lied to you about your mind. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at someone who is insanely brilliant and thought, "I wish I had a mind like that"? Maybe they were a math genius, a chess master, or a brilliant strategist. It seems like they process complex ideas like magic. Then, suddenly, a voice whispers in your head, "But I wasn't born that way." That, my friend, is the biggest deception in modern education. You have been programmed to believe that intelligence is something you're either born with or not. That if you weren't gifted from birth, you are forever stuck in the slow lane, struggling to catch up. The truth they don't want you to know is this. Listen to me very carefully. Genius is not something you are born with. It is something you build. Every hyper-intelligent person you respect didn't get there by luck. They discovered a mental secret, a framework for thinking that allows them to absorb information 10 times faster than the average person, process complex ideas with ease, deconstruct problems, and see hidden solutions, thinking in a way that defies conventional logic. And the scary part? This forbidden mental hack has existed for centuries, but it has been removed from modern education. Why do schools make you mentally weak? Have you ever wondered why school feels like a prison for your mind? Because it was designed that way. The education system was not built to create thinkers, rebels, or visionaries. It was designed to manufacture obedient workers, people who can follow rules, repeat facts, memorize equations, and do what they are told without asking questions. That is why you were never taught the real mental skills. Instead, you were fed a one-size-fits-all education system that rewards obedience more than intelligence and memorization more than actual thinking. But geniuses don't learn this way. Einstein ignored school and trained himself to think in pictures. Tesla visualized entire machines in his mind before building them. Da Vinci questioned everything, even the facts most people accepted. None of them followed conventional learning methods. They used a different system, a different mental operating system that turned their minds into hyperspeed cognitive processing machines. And the good news is, you can install this same mental system in your own brain. Your mind is a supercomputer if you know how to use it. Here's the crazy part. Your brain already has the potential for superintelligence right now. The problem is, no one ever gave you the user manual. But that's what we are about to change. Because in the next chapter, I am going to show you the precise mental hack that reprograms your brain for hyperspeed learning, advanced thinking, and genius-level problem solving. Are you ready? Because this is the moment everything will change. Chapter 2. The hidden mental hack that unlocks genius-level thinking. Your mind is capable of so much more than they told you. Let's be clear, your brain is not fixed. It is not a static machine that runs at the same speed forever. It is a biological computer that reprograms itself every second, adapting, growing, and evolving based on how you use it. The problem is, most people never upgrade their mental operating system. They stay stuck in memorization mode instead of deep thinking. They follow orders instead of questioning ideas. They learn the same way at 25 as they did at 15. But geniuses don't follow this pattern. They use a mental upgrade process that allows them to learn faster than normal people, see connections others miss, and think in complex layers instead of sequential steps. And the secret behind it is hyper-visual encoding, the secret operating system of genius minds. Most people think in words, sentences, lists, and facts. Geniuses think in simulations, images, movements, and systems. Instead of reading about a concept, they experience it mentally as if it were happening in reality. This is why Einstein wasn't writing equations when he came up with his theory of relativity. He was imagining himself riding a beam of light, and seeing how time and space would distort. This is why Tesla designed machines in his mind, running mental simulations to see if they would work without needing blueprints. This is why Da Vinci visualized human anatomy in layers, leading to discoveries that even doctors couldn't see. They weren't just thinking, they were living inside the idea. And you want to train your mind to work this way. Here is how. Step 1. Think in movies, not sentences. When most people learn something new, they process it like a textbook. They read the words, repeat them in their head, and try to remember them later. That is why they forget most of what they learn. But what do geniuses do? Instead of words, they turn every concept into a mental movie. For example, if you are learning about history, don't just read about it. Imagine it happening in front of you. If you are learning a new skill, visualize yourself doing it, step by step, in realistic detail. If you are solving a problem, run a full simulation in your mind, testing all possible outcomes in minutes. This technique activates more areas of your brain, making learning faster and deeper. Your first step: turn information into a mental movie. The next time you read or learn something new, turn it into a mental movie. Stop, close your eyes, and imagine the concept happening in front of you in super high definition. Replay it in your mind until it feels real. The more you do this, the sharper and more vivid your thinking will become. Step 2. Erase the boundaries with the what-if method. Most people think inside a box. They accept facts as they are told. They solve problems the same way they were taught. They assume the system is correct. But geniuses erase the mental walls and ask, what if everything I've learned is wrong? That question alone opens up reality. Einstein asked, what if time isn't constant? It led to his theory of relativity. Tesla asked, what if energy could be wireless? It led to wireless electricity. Da Vinci asked, what if humans could fly? It led to designs for flying machines. Your practical step: every day, pick one topic and challenge it. Ask, what if this is completely wrong? Ask, how could this be improved 100 times over? Ask, what's the one missing thing that no one else sees? This reprograms your brain to challenge reality instead of blindly accepting it. Step 3. Train your brain with impossible questions. Your brain grows when it struggles. If you only ask easy questions, your intelligence will stay weak. But geniuses ask themselves impossible questions that force their minds to develop new ways of thinking. Examples: how would I solve this problem if I had unlimited resources? How would I explain this concept to a 5-year-old? What would insert genius name here? Do if you were in my place. When your brain doesn't have an instant answer, it starts building new neural connections. And that is exactly how creativity and high-level intelligence evolve. Your practical step: every morning, write down one impossible question. Take 5 minutes to think about it. Don't worry about the right answer. Just let your mind work. Over time, your problem-solving ability will become superhuman. Step 4. Push your brain into overload mode. Here's a secret. Your brain learns at its fastest when it is under pressure. If you only process one perspective at a time, you will stay slow. But if you flood your brain with information from multiple sources, forcing it to make sense of the contradictions, it will evolve at a crazy rate. For example, read 3 completely different points of view on the same subject. Watch videos that contradict each other. Force your brain to synthesize conflicting ideas into a new solution. Your practical step: pick a topic, then read 3 completely different opinions on it, and find a way to merge them into a new, original idea. This is why geniuses see patterns others miss. Why were you never taught this mental hack? Now let's answer the big question. Why isn't this taught in schools? Because if you knew how to think this way, you wouldn't need years of schooling. You wouldn't follow old learning systems. You wouldn't be mentally controlled by the system. You would think for yourself. And that is exactly what the system doesn't want. They want you smart enough to work, but not smart enough to ask the important questions. But now you have the knowledge. And in the next chapter, we are going to take this to a deeper level. Chapter 3. The daily plan to reprogram your brain for genius thinking. Genius is not an accident. It's a system. Most people think genius is random, that people like Einstein, Tesla, and Da Vinci were just naturally gifted. But that's not true. Genius is not luck. Genius is not genetics. Genius is a process, a daily system, a way of thinking that can be trained. And today, I am going to give you the daily blueprint to reprogram your brain to think on a genius level. If you follow this system daily, your brain will start to work on a completely different level. Step 1. Start your day with a genius question. Your brain is at its most powerful during the first 30 minutes after waking up. Most people waste this time on their phones, consuming useless information. But geniuses activate their minds immediately with a deep, high-level question. Your practical step. As soon as you wake up, ask yourself a complex question like, what is the one idea that could change my life today? What is the one problem I've been avoiding that I must solve now? If I had no limitations, what would I create? Then, let your mind think. Don't force an immediate answer. Just let the question sit in your subconscious throughout the day. Your brain will automatically start looking for answers. This is what geniuses do. They constantly train their minds to search for solutions. Step 2. Think through mental simulations for 15 minutes daily. Geniuses don't just think in words. They think in images, scenes, and 3D simulations. That is why Tesla was able to visualize machines working in his mind before building them, and why Einstein said he didn't think in words, but in pictures. How do you train your brain to do this? Your practical step. Pick any problem or idea you are working on. Close your eyes. Create a mental movie of it. Imagine all the details, the movement, the colors, the process. Replay it, modify it, try different versions in your mind. Start with 15 minutes a day. The more you do this, the sharper your mind will become. Soon, you will be able to visualize complete solutions before you even touch a piece of paper. Step 3. Train your brain with intelligence sprints for 20 minutes daily. Most people read passively. They scroll through information, hoping they will remember something. But geniuses do the opposite. They force their brains to process huge amounts of information quickly and extract insights immediately. How? Your practical step. Pick a topic you want to master. Set a timer for 20 minutes. Read 3 to 5 different perspectives on that topic quickly, jumping between them rapidly. Immediately after, explain one key idea from each source out loud, as if you were teaching someone. This forces your brain to connect ideas quickly, analyze patterns, and develop advanced thinking. Do this daily, and within weeks, your information processing speed will increase dramatically. Step 4. The mental expansion method for 5 minutes daily. Geniuses think on a larger scale than most people. They don't ask small, ordinary questions. They push their thinking to the absolute limit. Your practical step. Every day, ask yourself, how can I make this 10 times better? If you were working on a project, what would this look like if I had unlimited resources? If you were learning a skill, what is the highest level I could reach? If you were solving a problem, how would Elon Musk, Da Vinci, or Einstein solve this? This forces your brain to go beyond normal boundaries and develop extraordinary ideas. Step 5. Destroy mental laziness in 60 seconds daily. The biggest difference between ordinary minds and genius minds is that geniuses don't allow themselves to be mentally weak. They don't say, I'll do it later. They don't say, I don't feel like thinking today. They don't say, this is too hard. Your practical step. Every time you feel your brain getting lazy about reading, thinking, or solving a problem, say out loud, I do hard things. My mind is programmed for challenges. Take a small action immediately. Don't negotiate with yourself. This trains your brain to bypass laziness and become an engine of intelligence and creativity. The final step, repeat this for 30 days. If you commit to these 5 steps daily for 30 days, here is what will happen. Your mind will absorb knowledge faster than ever before. You will start seeing patterns and connections that others miss. You will process information at a genius speed. You will develop a superior way of thinking that sets you apart from 99% of people. But most importantly, you will never see intelligence the same way again, because you will realize that genius was never a gift. It was always a different way of thinking. Chapter 4. How to make this mental upgrade permanent. Temporary intelligence versus permanent genius. Right now, your brain is changing. You are thinking faster. You are making deeper mental connections. You are processing ideas on a deeper level. But there's a problem. Most people discover genius techniques, use them for a while, and then forget them. They get excited at first, then go back to their old habits. And that is what we are going to avoid. Because this isn't just a temporary boost in intelligence. It is a plan to make your genius-level thinking permanent. Step 1. Make thinking a lifestyle, not a temporary task. Most people treat intelligence like a school subject. They study for a few hours, then turn off their minds for the rest of the day. But for geniuses, thinking is a 24/7 process. It's a lifestyle. How do you do this? Your practical step: don't separate thinking from your daily life. Make it your default mode. When you see something, ask, how does this work? Why does it exist this way? How could it be improved? If you are in traffic, ask, what is the biggest flaw in this system? How could it be redesigned with genius? If you are watching a debate, ask, what are the hidden psychological tactics the speakers are using? If you hear an opinion, ask, is this actually true or just social programming? Soon, you will realize your mind is learning every second without any effort. Step 2. Make deep thinking your default mode. Here's the harsh truth. Most people think at the lowest level possible, but geniuses never do. How do you train your brain to think deeply? Your practical step: every time you learn something new, force yourself to go deeper. Don't just ask, what does this mean? Ask, what are the deeper layers of this? What is the hidden pattern? How does this connect to something completely different? This turns your mind into a machine for discovering hidden patterns others can't see. Step 3. Program your mind for continuous growth. Most people have a fixed mindset. I'm either smart or I'm not. Some people are born geniuses and others aren't. There's a limit to how much I can improve. But geniuses believe, I can reprogram my brain to reach any level of intelligence I choose. Every day, my mind evolves. There is no ceiling to my mental capacity. Whatever you believe, your mind makes it true. Don't build your brain for days or weeks. Make it the product of years of deep, high-level thinking. Your first step: stop expecting instant results. Change your perspective to a 5-year vision. Ask yourself, what would my intelligence level look like if I trained it daily for 5 years? Set a clear goal. In 5 years, I will be thinking at a genius level. This mindset reprograms your brain for patience and mastery. Because once you commit to long-term mental evolution, nothing can stop you. Step 5. Protect your mind from mental pollution. This is the final step. Defend your mind like your life depends on it. Most people let garbage enter their minds all day long. Mindless social media scrolling, meaningless gossip, shallow conversations, exaggerated negative news. All of this is mental pollution. Geniuses protect their mental space like a fortress. Your practical step: eliminate unnecessary mental distractions. Surround yourself with high-level thinkers. Absorb only high-value knowledge. Ask yourself before consuming any information, does this make my mind stronger or weaker? Because what you feed your mind, it becomes. A final warning: you are now at a crossroads. You have a choice. You have seen how to reprogram your brain and learned the blueprint for permanent genius thinking. But what happens next depends on you. Most people will listen to this, then do nothing. They will go back to their old habits and stay at an average thinking level. But the rare few will apply this knowledge, and those people will become a new kind of thinker. They will see the world differently than 99% of people, and they will reach a level of intelligence most people can't. So who will you be? Because once you start using these methods consistently, you will never think the same way again. Chapter 5. The Dark Side of Intelligence. How to use your genius mind without destroying yourself. Intelligence is power, but power without control can lead to self-destruction. Every genius in history who reached the highest level of thinking also faced the most extreme consequences. Nikola Tesla died alone and broke, obsessed with ideas no one understood. Einstein admitted his extreme intelligence made his social life painful. Newton's deep thinking led to his madness. And you are now walking the same path. Your mind is evolving. Your thoughts are moving faster than most people can keep up with. And you are seeing reality in a different way. But if you don't learn how to control this mental power, it could be the cause of your downfall. In this chapter, I will show you how to balance high intelligence with mental stability and how to achieve social and practical success without falling into the traps that previous geniuses did. Step 1. How to avoid the lonely genius trap. The smarter you get, the harder it is to connect with people. Why? Because most people don't think deeply. They talk about superficial things. They accept wrong ideas without questioning them, and they live their lives on autopilot without challenging their beliefs. At first, you might try to wake them up to show them how to think critically, but most will reject it. And if you are not careful, this can lead to two dangerous paths. Isolation. You start withdrawing from people, convinced they're all idiots or arrogance. You start looking down on others, considering them inferior. Both cases will destroy your ability to use your intelligence effectively. Because true genius is not just knowledge, it is influence. Your practical step: find people who challenge your thinking, not just those who agree with you. Develop strategic communication skills. Don't overwhelm others with your intelligence. Lead them to conclusions simply. Observe people instead of judging them. Use your intelligence to understand human behavior, not to criticize it. True genius is not being alone at the top. It is elevating others with you. Step 2. How to stop overthinking and start executing. The smarter you get, the more your brain loves to analyze. And that's great, but it can turn into a curse. Why? Because geniuses think too much. They analyze problems from every angle. They get into endless mental loops. They look for the perfect answer and delay execution because they see too many possibilities. And so, they become people stuck in their own minds, unable to take real steps. Thinking without execution is useless. Your practical step: set a timer for decision-making. Give yourself a deadline to analyze the situation, then take action immediately. Use the 70% rule. If you are 70% sure of a decision, take the step. Intelligence is built on adaptation, not perfection. If you train your brain to think and execute at high speed, you will become a force no one can stop. Step 3. How to stay mentally stable while seeing the truth. The smarter you become, the more you realize the world is full of lies, illusions, and manipulation. The media shapes what people believe. Society rewards obedience, not intelligence. The system keeps people mentally weak on purpose. Once you see that, it's easy to become cynical, frustrated, or detached from reality. And this is where many geniuses fall into darkness, because they know the truth, but they don't know how to deal with it. Your practical step: observe reality without letting it consume you. Notice the flaws in the system, but don't let them destroy your motivation. Play the game smartly. Learn the rules of society, but use them to your advantage. Focus on building, not just criticizing. Intelligence is wasted if it's only used to criticize problems instead of creating solutions. The true genius is not just the one who sees the truth, but the one who knows how to navigate it with intelligence and power. Step 4. How to prevent mental burnout. Deep thinking consumes mental energy. Many brilliant minds drain themselves because they can't stop thinking. They absorb too much information. They jump from one idea to another without focus. They can't relax because their minds won't stop working. This leads to burnout and frustration. So, if you want to use your genius mind without destroying yourself, learn to balance deep thinking with mental relaxation. Break creative barriers and build mental stamina. Your first step: train your brain for endurance. Practice deep work sessions. Focus deeply for an hour. Then give your mind a 10-minute break to reset. Use physical movement to refresh your thinking. Walking, exercise, or simple stretching helps restore mental clarity. Meditate on problems instead of forcing solutions. Instead of overthinking, allow ideas to emerge naturally by stepping back. Intelligence is like a muscle. It grows through pressure and recovery. If you want to think at a high level for your entire life, you must master mental stamina. Step 5. How to control your intelligence in the real world. In the end, intelligence is only power if it is used correctly. If you let it control you, you will become isolated, you will overthink instead of acting, and you will lose the ability to connect with others. But if you control it, you will rise above the system, build power, influence, and success, and you will think on a level that only a few can reach.